There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name. Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino is the Name, and in this video, I'm gonna talk to you guys about some of the top ways that I have personally made money. You know, we see people out, we see them driving their cars, we see them living in their houses, we see them buying clothes in the mall, we see them at restaurants, and we oftentimes wonder what it is exactly that affords this person that lifestyle, where they can drive that car, where they can live in that house, where they can take those trips to the islands, where they can fly to Paris. What is it that they do that actually generates them money? How do they actually make money, right? Because you may be living your lifestyle and you know the people who you work with and they live relatively the way you live, but you may see somebody and you're like, man, how do they afford $1,000 suit and they got 10 of them? And how do they, like, you don't really know these people. So people have oftentimes asked me how I make a living, what it is, all that I do. Even people that I might have worked with, they knew that I might have had other things on the outside that I was doing, or the lifestyle that I had was above the income from a particular job or something like that. And so I want to take this time to make this video to talk to you guys about some of the top ways that I've made money. And some things may be apparent, some things may be a bit of a surprise for some. So the top way that I have made money, the top way that I've made money really surprises people. When I say the top way that I've made money, I'm referring to, as a collective, all the time that I have done whatever or been a part of something, what I've done that has made money, the most amount of money over time. So I've made the most amount of my money from being an employee. That's right. From being an employee, I have made the most amount of my money, because you got basically being an employee, being an investor, or being an entrepreneur, right? And so as an entrepreneur, I haven't made as much money in totality as I have as an employee. I just haven't, right? Now, at the same time, the most money that I've ever made in a short time frame has been as an entrepreneur. The most money I've ever made in a month was as an entrepreneur. Not even close, okay? It's not even close. The most money that I've ever made as an entrepreneur, the most money I ever made in a month was as an entrepreneur. I made $150,000 in 1 month. Now, it was technically over 2 months, because I didn't get really hardly anything for 1 month. And so the pay for that month and the next month kind of came at the same time. The check for February, for the work that I did in February, the work that I did in January was supposed to come in February, but because February was a short month, it paid out March 3rd, which was $94,000. And later that month, the check for February paid out, I think it was the end of March. It was maybe the 23rd or the 27th or the 30th or something of March. Not exactly clear on the top of my head, but that check paid out at the end of March. So the check for January that was supposed to come in February didn't pay out until March 3rd, because February was a short month. And then the money that the work that we put in for February, which was supposed to pay out in March, did pay out in March. It just paid out at the end of March. And that check was it was around 56,000 or 54,000. It was around 54,000, because it was like 94,000. No, yeah, it was 94,000 and like 56,000. And so they totaled right at 150,000. So it was somewhere around that. Maybe it was like 55,000 and some change. Yeah, and then the other one was like 94,000 and some change. Either way, when they totaled up, it ended up being like 150,000 for just that 1 month. Now, out of that, I think I had to take out 60,000 for paying salaries, employees, and things like that. But still, the net was crazy. I still netted like 90, but I had other projects going on, construction projects, things like that I was putting money into. And so I had like 2 construction projects kind of getting ready to go on at the same time. So that was the most money that I've ever made in a month was as an entrepreneur. The most money that I've ever made in totality was as an employee. Now, as an investor, I'd say as an investor, when I'm saying as an investor, I mean more like it's more passive. Buy a house, fix it up, and flip it. I think I made 54,000 as just a generic investor, but now totality still nowhere close to either one, like either the entrepreneur or the employee. As an investor, super passive. Not as much money. I was a landlord for over 10 years. And even though I made some money, I still spent money, fixing up things, having to repair the house after multiple tenants moved out, had to repair things after each one of them, fix things up, remodeling, all of that kind of stuff. So even though I might have made money at different times, it wasn't, let's just call it out break even on the rental money. But when I sold that property, I made 54,000. So that was pretty good. But as just a silent investor in things, I haven't made too much money as a silent investor. I've given money to friends and family members to invest in their dreams that I was supposed to be like a partner in and stuff, but they ain't do right. They ain't do right. So, but yeah, so as an employee, I made the most money in totality. Definitely not the most money in a month or in a short period of time or even in a year. In a year, I made way more money. I probably made $400,000 over $300,000 in a year as an entrepreneur. Nowhere close to that as an employee. A third of that as an employee. So, and then as an investor, the most money I made in a year was 54,000. From selling that house. It's like these other little onesie twosies, but it's not nothing crazy. So there you have it. I've had a trucking company, but again, that's entrepreneurship. That's as an entrepreneur, having your own business and doing things like that. I made money doing different things. I've done so many different things, but made money doing different things. But the most money in totality that I've made in my life was as an employee. That afforded me the ability to invest in these other things was coming from that space. As an entrepreneur, I made the most money that I've ever made in a year as an entrepreneur. The most money I've ever made in a month, a single week, and a single day was as an entrepreneur. I think one day on this one project, that one day, I got to go back and look. I feel like we generated 17,000 in one day. I think we made like 17,000 in one day. So yeah, that was a really good day, of course. And we had a couple other days where we made a couple $1,000s like that, like 10,000, 5,000, stuff like that. But I believe one particular day we were able to clear about 17,000. And that's as an entrepreneur. So that was really, really good. And I probably netted over half probably of that. That was net. But yeah, so just wanted to share that, the reality of how people can make money versus like what you may think they do, and as an employee, I worked in the military, I worked as a federal civilian, I worked as a contractor, these are mainly the three places that I worked as an employee, as a contractor, as a federal civilian, and I was ex-Air Force. So there you have it. Nothing too crazy about that, right? Anyway, anybody can get this money. It is available. It is out here. It's a crazy time we're in currently. Keep the faith, keep hope alive, but you can absolutely get out here with a job and make all the money that you'd ever need in order to live a great life, okay? So anyway, right now you're watching Casino Is the Name. If you find any value in this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we out. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino Is the Name.